It may help if I actually turn the mic back on. Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing fine. Because tonight, it's another open lines. And who all... Ooh. Well. Parrot Head, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah. Hope you get better. Paul says, I'm about to watch the new Chucky series on TV. Let me know how that is. I'm hearing some mixed things about it. So I'm kind of curious myself. But I don't not curious enough to switch back to cable. Hello, Lady Mist. Hello, Parrot Head. Neeple, Ricardo. I hope everyone's having a good night. Great night. I'm feeling good tonight. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm feeling good about tonight. I just got off of Killing Floor 2 with some of my friends, and we were trying out the new weapons. Because we haven't played together in a while. It's been, I'd say, almost before I started my YouTube channel that we actually played together. So that was actually fun. And we were trying out all the new DLC weapons with our respected classes. Because with that team, I had to... Everybody had their own set classes that they were proficient with. Of course, mine was medic, but anyway. Let's see. I need to get this into the chat. That might actually help. StreamYard link is up and in the chat. I might open up the open lines and get stuff started. Might actually help a lot. So, let's see what's going on. Yeah. Prayers go out Parrot Head because he's... Do you have what I think you have? Or is it just plain like the flu or whatever? Because that'd suck even worse. But anyway, I'm going to pin this up here. That way we can get people... It's up in the chat. I did have a... hello, just another red shirt, just in time. Oh no. You do have what I thought you would have. The dreaded coof. Oh no. Yes, prayers to you. Hope you get better, and a fast, speedy recovery, and yeah, definitely. That's a major bummer. I don't know how to come back from that. I'm not lying. If anybody wants to come up and talk some news or whatever, pop culture news or anything, you can come up here and we'll just have some fun up here and talk. Right now, I had no clue what I was doing tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I had absolutely no clue what I was going to talk about, other than the fact that maybe I'm still kind of excited about these movies that are coming out, like the new Ghostbusters. I still looks like it has some promise, but that was last time I got had up here. Dune, I still want to go see it, and Venom looked good, but I think I'm going to totally miss out on it. I'll probably have to wait till it comes out on like Blu-ray or is it already out on digital? Let me know in the chat if the Venom's already out on streaming services or anything. I doubt it's gonna be. Unless you want to come up here and talk about it. Maybe. I don't know. I was just thinking. There's not really much news. Hello, Edge of Time. He's just saying hi and he can't stay. Well, thank you for popping in. That's cool of you. That's mighty awesome of you. And it's been a while too. Thank you for popping and showing up. That kind of actually means a lot. It's nice to see names I haven't seen in a while in the chat. That's always good. It's always good. Um, I did have a little something I was working on. I've been writing on something else completely out of Theodore Pendergrass canon. I've deemed Project Prison World. It's very dystopian, very very close to our present, but not so distant future. But it doesn't feel like it's too far off either. If that makes any sense at all. Like the way they're going, this could be like literally a political decision away. What I'm writing. It's absolutely crazy. But enough about what I'm getting into. I was actually talking about moving my game streams to Twitch, but then I thought, why would I want to do that? I got a great following here. I don't know how many people would actually follow me over. But I don't want to end up abandoning the ones that actually on me since day one of me coming back to streaming and things. So I do have loyalties, despite what everybody thinks. My low lie, where they like. Oh. All right. The StreamYard link is at the top if anybody wants to come up. And that's, I'm excited for. I'm also excited about what I'm going to be doing with the gaming. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of different replays of different id Software games. So, all the story goodness is going to continue to come out of the Darth Aster channel. So, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait for all that. I'm really maybe I'll actually give some background and some history and some little tidbits that only super fans would probably know. But I hope that that's going to be something to look forward to at least. Uh, Heck, the gameplay itself should be awesome enough. I mean, it's OG id Software, like the '90s, unapologetic. I didn't give a total fuck about anything but making a video game that I was actually wanting to actually make. I mean, how awesome could creators and video game developers didn't actually care about what the public thought. Get their project out there and hope it did good. We have somebody. Let's see who we got. We got just another red shirt. How you doing, brother?
Very well, thank you, Darth Aster. It's a pleasure. So, what do you want to talk about?
Ow. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I was talking about how game developers and like movie directors and all these creative people in Hollywood like don't want to when they didn't care about what people thought. They didn't give a damn. They just put whatever they wanted to out there and hope it actually sold.
Yeah, that seems to be the throw everything you have at the wall and see if any of it sticks approach.
Yeah, and that's what id Software did, and they were balls to the wall about it, and I loved it. And that's probably one of the reasons that I love the old original team from id Software. I don't care what you think about John Romero. He may be like, I know people have met him, and some people say he's like a total egotistical asshole and a narcissist, but the man was a genius. You cannot deny that.
That's actually seems to go with the territory for that, unless you've got a saint on your hands. But you've got somebody who knows they can do this and they can do things that other people can't do. That tends to be bad for your humility.
Yeah. True.
But
Yeah,
my
those
experience with strangely enough, I don't know if I've got a lag or something here, but strangely enough, my experience with gaming companies is restricted to one set of interviews I did for one company, and boy, am I glad I didn't wind up there. I
what
just
company
didn't
was
like
it?
the attitude.
If if you don't mind to ask.
I'm trying. This is a long time ago. This is going on 15 to 20 years ago.
Was it old EA before they
No,
went
no,
all money hungry?
no, it wasn't. It was like Manifold or Gear or some weird
Gear
name. It was
Gearbox.
no, I think it was Gearbot. But they had a massive online multiplayer game. That's what they were working on, and they interviewed me, and when the hiring manager, actually said to me, "Well, you should be willing to work for less than market rate because you're writing a game." I'm like, no wonder your game's full of bugs. You have enthusiasts, not professionals, writing them. Oh,
Well, well, you could say a lot about that, but I think Killing Floor 2 is actually a Kickstarter made from fans of the original Killing Floor mod.
well, but the fans could do it, but you still need some expertise, or you wind up with a buggy, brittle, god awful engine that doesn't respond well and can't be tweaked. And I hoped that they had somebody who was in charge of architecture, and they may very well have. Um, but I work with the guy who used to long time ago used to work. It was a gaming developer, and he corroborated that for me. Um, they basically just chew up developers and spit them out. You have to be at the senior design level to not be treated like cattle. So
So
it's not
basically,
easy.
you have to be like godlike status, like id Software original member status.
Yeah. The longer you've been there, the better off you are, because they're just going to bring people in and have you run. They're going to have you develop a game with a whole bunch of cannon fodder to write a whole lot of code. And 3/4 of your job will be reviewing other people's code and trying to keep it from, gatekeeping it, keep it from being complete crap. So you're going to going to be moving into the design part.
Yeah, I got a what if for you.
Mm-hmm.
What if John Renault and John Carmack, two of the original members of id Software, actually got back together and made a game?
If they have a good idea, and I know they've been around a long time. I'm not that familiar with them, but they're not. Their names I've heard, and that means they've been around a long time. Because if I've heard of them, they've been around forever. That would really be interesting. The state of the gaming industry is kind of weird, because we've seen what's happening with all of the other pop culture industries happening to gaming, and
Yeah, I see it
they
bleeding over every day, actually.
yeah, yeah. And I've watched you play some really interesting games that were really creative. Um, the Lovecraftian concept, I thought that was cool to watch. I mean, that was fun just to sit and watch, because I'm like, wow, this is like a movie that I don't, I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but damn,
But I
it's
like
interesting to
it.
look at. I like it. Yeah, exactly. So,
It's like I have
games
no
like that-
fuck. It's like I have no fucking clue what's going on, but oh my god, I like.
Mhm. And then there are games. Where I have no idea what's going on, but I'm like, oh man, I do not like this, and I know this will probably put me in a very, very, very small minority, and West Moody Webcast is going to ban me from his channel. But the New Vegas, that thing. I mean, the graphics are incredible. The problem is the scenery is god awful looking. It's like you're
talking
looking at a post-apocalyptic desert, and I'm
new?
like, and it's rendered beautifully. It's just ugly.
You talk about the new Rainbow Six game?
No, I think it's Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, Fallout New Vegas was beautiful. Or are they making another
See,
New Vegas game?
yeah. See, here's the thing. I've been to the desert in southeastern California. Okay, way down towards the Mexico border, heading towards, basically heading towards Arizona and New Mexico. And I know people tell me, "Oh, that desert's beautiful," and I look at it and go, "Okay, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have an Inigo Montoya moment here. You keep using that word. I don't think that word means what you think it means, because this does not look beautiful to me. But that's me. It's a matter of taste. Um,
You
you
keep
know,
using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
right? I'll give you a counter. I mean, I just got was on a stream last night with the Wake Down talking about an anime, because he was like, "We have to introduce you to proper anime." I'm like, okay, send me one to watch, and watched it twice. It's Princess Mononoke, and I'm an
I
old
love
school.
Princess Mononoke.
Okay, I am an old school animation fan. Disney, Warner Brothers, Fantasia. I love Fantasia. I love the older Disney stuff. And there's one
It's
shot in there that,
Princess Mononoke is one of the Studio Ghibli films, or Ghibli or
yes,
Ghibli, or it really good. I love Studio Ghibli or Ghibli
and
or
and
whatever.
their background art was stunning. The animation was okay, but the
Howl's
backgrounds and the
Moving
way that was just unbelievable. And there's a scene, when he's rescued the couple of men from the river. He's got one on his back and one on the horse. They're following the little tree sprites, tree spirits, deeper and deeper into the forest. And they come down to a section of the forest with enormous trees and just clear running water flowing in braided rivulets all around the place. I'm sure you remember this. And there's this enormously long pan, for starters, from left to right, which necessitates a hugely wide strip painting so that they can go across it with the camera. And then it cuts to the main character, who gasps and leans forward, and like he's focusing through at something he's just seen. And then they do what is either computer animation. We couldn't figure out. Nobody could figure out which one it was. But there's a shot where you're looking through his eyes, and the trees are pulling towards you. The camera is zooming in, and basically that's either a very, 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 very good job of computer animation, or it's a multi-plane camera shot. And Disney made the multi-plane camera
Yeah.
famous. He didn't invent it, but he made it famous because he used it a lot in his feature films in the 50s. And I
But
said on the stream, when I saw that, I sat straight up in my chair and went, "This is a much more expensive production than I thought it was when I first started watching. That is an amazing production."
yeah, those Studio Ghibli movies, like Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, those are good. There's a few more, but those are the ones that are coming right off the top of my head, just right at the moment. But they
Yep,
have
it's
their cinematic moments. They definitely have their cinematic moments, and
definitely.
and I like it when even video games can get that cinematic. Uh,
Yeah,
just sticking around. Like some of the cutscenes in these video games are just, oh my gosh, just beautiful. Hello, man, Sir Spade 7 and Butterflies. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, where was I? The video games, cinematics. up to par with Hollywood and animation cinematics.
Right.
Square Enix, the development team, you need to watch. Square
Okay.
Enix, the Final Fantasy franchise, those games have some seriously beautiful cinematics. They've had beautiful cinematics since even when they had the bits of Final Fantasy VII, those were good. But I really liked 8 is where the cinematics really started to take their own strides, and I think that's why I like 8 so much. Final
Well, I
Fantasy
haven't.
8 was, and
I,
everybody's like, everybody I talk to about Final Fantasy 8 is like, that it's okay, but the junctioning system didn't make no sense. And I'm like, yeah, it did. It made perfect freaking sense. Everybody had their own jobs, and everybody was really good with one certain guardian force or Aeon or summon creature, whatever you want to call them, because Final Fantasy has called him many things over the years. But the cinematics are really where Square Enix or Square in general shine, because Final Fantasy has always been Squaresoft. Now the Dragon Quest series, Dragon Quest Dragon Warrior for the even lower in the US was Enix software before the merger. They didn't really start merging until like Final Fantasy 10 maybe. And they've got like
mhm.
greatest hits titles of 9 that I see with the Square Enix logo, and that's when I really started seeing the Square Enix logo. Probably about a year later. Well, later, Sir Spade Sam 7. Man, that's a mouthful every time I try to say it. Try to say that
Yeah.
5 times fast. Man, that's a. But yeah, he let's see. I was really into like the the cinematics for like StarCraft and Diablo were really good.
Hmm.
I guess really
Well,
what got
it,
me on the Blizzard bandwagon in the beginning.
well, there. It was obvious. Let's put it this way: it's been obvious again for a fan of animation, as I am, who was who was disillusioned by partial animation in the '70s, and just things got even weirder in the '80s and '90s. Unless you were watching reruns of the old stuff on like Nick at Night or something, or one of those, or the Cartoon Channel. Uh, that they suffered the cartoons in this country. I mean, when they were made for movie theaters, that was when they were the best, because they were what the theater showed before anybody had the idea of showing coming attractions. So you went to the movies, you got a couple of cartoons, and then you got your movie. And it had to be for the whole audience. I mean, that's why the Warner Brothers and MGM cartoons are still funny, even though you're not a child anymore, because they weren't made for children, like a lot of the Saturday morning cartoons were by outfits like Hanna-Barbera. They weren't made for adults; they were made for children. So they aren't any very entertaining now, to somebody who's not a child anymore. Um, then
But some of
along
those
came.
Hanna Barbera cartoons were actually. I still find some of them Hanna Barbera cartoons funny. But continue. I'm
Some of
sorry.
them, yes. Well, that's fine. Some of them are, but that wasn't their primary focus. Whereas Warner Brothers at Termite Terrace, as they called their cartoon studio, um, they were made to make each other laugh, and which is a lot like Monty Python. Monty Python's writing meetings were all about if a sketch was acted out by the writer and other people around the table laughed, it went into the show. And of course, none of them wanted to laugh because they wanted their jokes and sketches to get into the show. So it was a really tough audience. If you could make them laugh, it was probably really good. And that was the Warner Brothers way. They tried to make each other laugh with their gags and the way they drew things.
So it was everybody trying to one up each other in the boardroom, basically.
Exactly. And as a result, you had competition amongst the animation teams. You had competition amongst the animators and so on. And everybody was looking for a new gag, a new way to draw something that would pop, make people, just involuntarily chuckle, laugh, what have you. And as a result, they didn't get stale. And they're still funny to this day, especially if you understand the cultural references. They are a little bit of their time, but not entirely. Of course, the Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons are timeless. There is nothing in there that is of a time. So, in fact, there's nothing in there that's language. So those are the ones that have been distributed most widely around the world because you don't need to translate.
And that's why Roadrunner and Coyote are some of the most well-known and famous, because they didn't need language, but they transcended because they didn't have the language. They were just a roadrunner and a wolf or a fox or whatever he was.
Well, he was a coyote, but
Coyote.
Yeah.
Coyote, yes.
Yeah, coyote. In the American Southwest, and it's funny because I've read Chuck Jones's book, and it turns out that after they started doing it, he decided he needed to set rules. And then they could make a cartoon as long as it followed these rules. And it's like Roadrunner never leaves the road. If you think back at Roadrunner cartoons, the Roadrunner never leaves the road. He doesn't cut across country. He doesn't take shortcuts, or cross bends. He just runs right down the road. The Roadrunner will never hurt the coyote except by startling him with beep beep. That's all he's allowed to do. But the coyote will take care of the rest. The coyote will never fall once he's run over a drop until he realizes there is a drop. That's coyote physics. He has to know there's nothing under him before he'll start to fall. And they came up with these rules. That's a very simple framework for these cartoons. And then they said, okay, the coyote's going to try and come up with ever more elaborate ways of catching the Roadrunner, and they always backfire. He's his own worst enemy. So they're wonderful. They're wonderful cartoons for that, because they're a metaphor for the harder you try to do something you're no good at, more likely you are to get hurt doing it. This is the way I've always looked at the coyote. Learn to do it first, then go out and try it. Yeah, but don't just walk in and go, oh, I could do this, and bam, you walk off the cliff, and exactly 93 frames later, we see the little puff of dust at the bottom, or whatever it is that Chuck Jones figured out for the time. But that's the type of animation that I've been a fan of absolutely all of my life. So and Disney as well, but they're features, they're different sorts of things. But this Princess Mononoke, what I've seen from anime has been Americanized anime. It's like Speed Racer and Castlevania, and they wanted me to. Speed Racer
American. Speed Racer is not American. The original Speed Racer was actually an anime.
Well, my point was it was said. I said that, and then I was told, yes, but it's an Americanized one. It's not a pure Japanese anime.
It's not? I always thought it was.
Well, I don't know. I was 5 years old when I watched it. It always looked like it always looked to me like what I've seen of anime since. But at any rate, Speed Racer for me was a children's story because I watched it recently. I watched a couple of old Speed Racer episodes that I found, I think, on YouTube or something, and I went, "Oh man, I needed to be 5 years old to watch this and enjoy it because it is so corny and silly, and the animation gets a little weird at times." So when I watched Princess Mononoke, yes, the animation does get a little shaky at times, but the production and the art of the backgrounds and the scenery and the writing of the story
Yeah,
are
the background and the writing
absolutely
are so good you don't care about the slight shakiness and the animation.
exactly. And when they get everything right at the same time, it's magical. It's like Disney at its best. So I was very impressed, and I said, "Yeah, I would watch more of this because I didn't realize anime had ever risen to this kind of level." And I know people have told me that it has, and then they tell me to watch Gundam or they tell me to watch some crazy ass thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, back up. Give me something a little bit more grounded, a little bit more of a just a coherent. It's going to be one self-contained story. Tell me the story, start at the beginning, go to the middle, and finish at the end, and we're good. And I think that's what Princess Mononoke was. I think it was a great recommendation. I want to thank the Wake Down for
Yeah,
suggesting it. So I will definitely be looking at more.
this comment is, can't believe they're making another Chucky. Yeah, the Chucky TV series, that's actually coming out. Halloween Kills coming. Yeah, I'm actually excited about that too. What I didn't see coming was this new Scream movie. I can't believe they're putting out what, Scream 5? My question is, are they getting the original cast? Google, my old friend. I've come to consult with you again. Anything about
Well,
this? Just another red shirt?
I heard, I heard that for the new Chucky, they do have Brad Dourif on board to provide the voice of Chucky. So that gives them a shot.
I was
That
talking.
that at
Yeah,
least,
Brad Dorf is definitely on, and Jennifer Tilly. I heard.
yep. There you go. You've got most of it right there. Now you just got to write a story. You got to
And
write a good
hopefully, it's a
script.
good one. By the
Yeah.
way, we have Neopol Ricardo. Actually, he said he's a regular on the most of the Killing Floor gaming streams. He's actually watching the Chucky TV series right now as it's
Oh,
airing on TV.
okay.
So I'll probably find out about that by probably the end of the night because I told him to keep posted.
Yeah. But this is all of these
Like I
reboots.
almost
I mean, this is
yeah, it's
these
getting a
reboots are
little
starting to get
redundant, isn't
really
it?
old. Yeah. I mean, if you have a good idea, I mean, Ghostbusters Afterlife appears to have, from the trailers, a good idea. Whether they can execute it, I can't say. I'm hopeful, but but it's an idea that was like, you know what, 20 years or whatever it is now. Now it's more like what, 80, 40 years after, almost 40 years after the original movie. You decide, well, let's go with the kids or the grandkids. That makes sense. 40 years later,
I
or
have
maybe you say, well, compress it a little. It's not that much, but I like the idea. What were you starting to say?
I have the cast for Scream 5. I believe they're calling it just Scream. It may be just a reboot. Or no, it may just be a retelling or maybe a continuation because Nev Campbell is back playing Sidney Prescott. David Arquette is bringing back his role. So is Courtney Cox. 3 survivors.
It's hard to imagine,
Joined with
given yeah, but it's hard to imagine given the length of time since the first movie, what they're going to do with the original cast. A revisit, a reunion type of thing. Try and make us believe this is an immediate in the immediate next, subsequent, shortly following the original movie, a prequel to the movie. It's not clear.
oh yes, this is finally happening. Hocus Pocus 2. Like, okay, I'm gonna throw this out right here and right now. How long has this actually been talked about and around about in Hollywood? Seriously, how long? It's been. I heard something about this in early 2002, 2003, maybe, give or take a couple of months. They're trying to do another Hocus Pocus, and it never got off the ground. It keeps getting shut down. What we're waiting for? Bette Midler to die?
I don't know. But again,
I mean,
is there anybody in Hollywood today that is shopping a new story? Totally new.
totally new.
Totally new. Not a reboot, not a remake, not a reimagining, not, Hobbits in the Second Age of Middle Earth. God help us.
Oh
Or
gosh.
is
Yeah, I
anybody?
heard about that too.
Oh,
Oh,
Gary's been all over that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I'm just going. I'm not going to have anything to do with this. I am not going to have a
yeah,
single
that's
thing
the
to do
way
with
I
this.
am. That's the way I am too. I'm like, no, no Amazon,
I
no Amazon Lord of the Rings for me. Thank you.
Well, let's put it this way. I've tried to read the Silmarillion. It's a very hard read compared to Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit because it's not really a story. It's vignettes and a history, right? It's more or less a history book. And I just couldn't get into it. I wasn't invested enough in everything to do with the origins of Middle Earth to want to wade through a book of that size. But when I first heard that Amazon was going to do a television series based on essentially the Silmarillion, because they were going to do the Second Age, which is what a lot of what the Silmarillion is about. The Second Age of Middle Earth, the Third Age being where Hobbit and Lord of the Rings take place. I was like, that's going to be tough to put on the screen because at best you've got a bunch of vignettes. And then more I heard about it, the more I was like, they're not going to stick to what Tolkien wrote, and it's going to be a horror show. And that was when I was like, no, I'm not watching this. I mean, I would love to have had somebody put a preface, like an outline of the Silmarillion, hit the high points of the Silmarillion in a television show for me so I could watch it and go, maybe I'm inspired to go back and try one more time to read that book. But that's not what they're going to do. Not from everything we've been hearing. So unless there's a bigger miracle than Bond's no time to actually pay any attention to your silly last movie, Mr. Bond, that this isn't going to be worth looking at. Unless you want to watch, a cut rate Game of Thrones produced by Amazon, and it's an insult to the memory of J.R.R. Tolkien.
And don't forget, maker of Bond, Ian Fleming. I don't know if you heard that.
More
It's
about it?
a stain on his memory. Fleming too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The
The way
the
this is,
creator of James Bond
yes, I've read the
in his
books.
book series. Yeah.
I mean, the movies diverged from the books from the moment that they started making them. Okay, they weren't, Doctor No. I remember reading Doctor No, seeing the movie, and going, um, "Man, if they'd spent more time on this and this, it would have been really cool." But they didn't. They spent more time on bikinis and some other things, and all like, okay, but it's a movie, visuals, great. Um, and then they ran out of books.
Wait. Hold the phone. You're bitching about bikinis?
Okay. No, no, no. I'm saying that I'm saying that Doctor No, she was a minor character, and it was a battle of wits between James Bond and Doctor No. That was the climax of the book. Was Bond going to be able to get out of the mountain and get past all the traps set for him? Now, it's like I said, it's a movie, so it's got visuals. Well, what's better than her in that bikini as a visual? Not much, not much. But
It's hard to top.
they did the same. Yeah, it is hard. Well,
Who
yeah.
played Doctor No?
Who was the
I
Bond girl
can't
in
remember.
Doctor? Oh, Lord, take a
Yeah,
quick look. Well,
who
I
played
could.
it?
I got a couple of names on the tip of my tongue, but I want to I'm sure I get the right one. So let me look this up here real fast. Doctor No.
I know it
So
wasn't
we're gonna go.
a lady who played Doctor Quinn. Fucking Jane Seymour.
Oh no, it's not Jane Seymour. No,
I know it's
it
not Jane
Ur,
Seymour.
it's Ursula Andress.
Ursula Andress. Ooh.
Yep, that was Honey Rider. So yeah, she was the lady in the bikini, and yeah, that's she was one of the sex symbols of the 1960s.
But we can't have those anymore. I don't know why.
Well, no,
Probably
oh well, they make certain oppressed groups uncomfortable because they don't see themselves in the mirror in that character.
because male gaze bad. Male gaze bad.
Exactly.
I don't know why, but male gaze bad.
Yeah, it's
I do like this
and they did
character.
that well. Well, I mean,
I been,
the best Bond girl name. Come on, the best Bond girl name of all time has to have been in Goldfinger. Pussy Galore. I mean, top that for a name.
that was a heck of a name, for sure. Um, I kind of liked
The Bond
Octopussy.
films, yeah, Octopussy. Yeah, Octopussy is a good one, good for a title. Um, but here's the thing: people have been saying this. I'm not going to claim this. I'll say this. I've been hearing that one of the complaints of recent Bond is that it isn't fun. It might be occasionally exciting, but it's not fun. And even Roger Moore, at his campiest, played Bond in a setting that was fun.
yeah, I noticed
And
that Daniel is not popping off any of the kill jokes. Like, I noticed the kill jokes are kind of missing and very lackluster.
he had one good one. He had one good one when he had a guy with the bionic eye, and he activated his EMP watch, and it blew the eye up in the guy's head and killed him. He says, "Yep, it blew his mind." And that was the best Bond quip that he had. It was almost the only Bond quip, classic Bond quip that he had in the entire movie.
Maybe even his entire like Bond career. It just did it.
Mhm. Yeah, he's a dour character. He's a moody, uh, obsessed with women, some particular woman, whereas in the old days, pumper and dumper type of thing. I mean, that was to be indelicate about it. That was Bond. That was Connery's Bond. He'd kill her if he thought she betrayed him. I mean, when he thinks that
Yeah.
Elizabeth Swann has betrayed him at the grave, and he doesn't want to drive away, and she's imploring him to leave, and finally he decides to go ahead and rescue both of them, and then he puts her on the train. Bond, the early Bond wouldn't have put her on a train. He'd have put her in the ground.
And we got one coming up here. Let's see who we got. We got Jens P. How you doing?
Yeah, Daff. Just over a chair. Yeah, I've been listening for a bit now, and yeah, you got onto the Bond subjects. Yeah, you're right. Just another shirt. Just another red shirt. Yeah, there was only one line, and that's when, yeah, he blew that eyeball thing up with the magnetic pulse watch that he's got.
Yeah.
It was a
we
good
were,
line, but it was like the Monty Python joke. But it's my only line.
Yeah. It was sort of like where the writers was said, right, well, we've got to put one witty quip in there, and yeah, because then it's just one.
And it probably took all of the writers a month to come up with it.
Yeah, well, I think it could have been also in the reshoots and all, because they did a few reshoots, which I think they made Bond more sort of like masculine, because they knew,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have to add something. A lot of people have been antiquating or carrying Daniel Craig's Bond a lot to Jason Bourne.
yeah.
And the way his rhythms and the way he actually portrays himself more than like it feels more Jason Bourne than it or John Wick
More
than
serious.
it does.
Yeah,
I don't.
Because like, just another red chair was saying before, like I opted in that, like about Roger Moore sort of thing, where it was tongue in cheek. It was that sort of comedy, sort of where was the sort of like Bond films where it was sort of stuff where other dudes wouldn't do it, and that's because they're not James Bond. Where it has become more of the Bourne, where it's more realistic, where that ain't Bond. Bond is more fantasy-y.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I've got to throw something out there.
All right, but can I get one word in here before we move about Bourne? Because
no, we're not. No. We're not moving on. I'm just adding something.
Okay, go ahead.
That the whole. Do you really think a real spy is not going to try to actually joke at least a little bit, just to even keep some semblance of sanity?
Yeah. Well, the thing with Bond is, he's a sort of like suicidal, where he takes on these crazy, like, death-defying missions because he don't care if he dies or not. That's why, like, I like the Roger Moore, where he's basically having a laugh. He's like, oh yeah, I don't care if I die. I just don't want too much pain. But if I die quickly, I'm all right. He'll raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, I don't think it's unfair to compare Daniel Craig's Bond to Jason Bourne. I don't think it's a 1-to-1 all the way down the line, but I think there are similarities. Jason Bourne, if I remember, and I've watched the Bourne movies a couple of times, has all the sense of humor of a spoiled, of a moldy piece of bread. There's nothing funny about him at all.
Yeah.
He's
Well-
intense, focused,
Yeah.
fixated, even more than anything.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was his conditioning.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, to be fair to his character, he's got a lot of stuff that he wants to find out, doesn't he? So he doesn't want to mess around. He's serious about the because it's his memory, in it. He's serious about getting his memory back. Where Bond, he's more of like don't really care as long as he can drive some fancy cars and go get with some good-looking women.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
know,
yeah, James
but
Bond.
go ahead. Just another red shirt.
Well, yeah, James Bond wants to, live fast, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die. Because in the books, he's a very broken individual. God, he's so damaged. And in the movies, he's just I don't give a, That's it. He just doesn't give one. He has no F's left to give, and that's the way he operates. So if she's cute, he wants her, and if there's a joke to be made, he'll make it. He's a wise ass in many ways, which is great. Even with his boss, he likes to. How many times did you watch the original M screw his mouth up and try not to say anything because Bond made a joke in his paneled office?
Oh yeah. Well, there's always the occasion where M or Q are always telling him to like take it more seriously, aren't they? Because they're like serious about this mission. Where Bond, as you say, he's live fast, die young, or well. The Roger Moore ones won't so die young, but yeah, he doesn't care.
I've always had a hard time with Daniel Craig's Bond. I don't know what it is, but I've seen other type of spy movies like La Femme Nikita and let's see, Eraser and all those other Femme Nikita TV series. He seems more like a sleeper agent than an actual spy to me. It just don't seem like Bond at all. It seems like a sleeper. You call them up and they do what they need to do and they go home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Cold War's finished, hasn't it? Because that's when like Bond was like at its highest sort of in that. But yeah, so spying it has gone sort of like more sleeper agent where just slight missions that like there's no real main sort of threat.
It doesn't seem like there's much
Obviously, at the end.
agency for it.
Yeah.
Well, in the Cold War, he was up against Smersh and Spectre. They kept Spectre because that wasn't a child of the Cold War. It was just an internationalist thing. And I'll tell you what, I think there's a reason that they killed all of Spectre. Every single person from Spectre is now gone after this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer fashionable to make globalists the bad guys.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think like Bond probably next mission is going to be trying to take on parents at school meetings.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Great minds think alike. Yes, that's going to be the new. That's going to be the new Bond villain is the parent who goes to the school board meeting. And who lives in a split level house and drives a minivan.
Principal Devereaux.
Oh my!
See James Bond, his next upcoming film. Principal Devereaux, coming to theater near you.
Yeah, you see Bond pulling up to the school gates and then Aston Martin.
They're gonna need a new theme song. They're gonna need a new theme song for the new Bond. I predict it. That theme song will be retired along with James Bond.
Yeah. Well, the original, it was an Indian song, and it was somewhat on the lines of "I'm a poor beggar boy." That was the original lyrics to that song, but then like they just copied the sort of rhythm and that of that song and just didn't put any lyrics in.
Huh.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I didn't know.
That I didn't know that either. But now that we're talking about the song, I'm trying to remember. Did any of the traditional Bond theme that you and I were just doing really badly? That's did that appear? Did that appear as a background in the movie? Because it usually does when James is about to go do something dangerous. You usually start to hear and he's driving, and you know that he's going someplace where he's going to do something dangerous because the theme song, the traditional classic, the original theme song, is coming into the soundtrack, and it's like I think I was like out 2 hours and 10 minutes before I heard that for the first time. Am I wrong?
I think that's where the meme comes in, where shit's gonna hit the fan when the background soundtrack music comes in.
Yeah,
but it was like it wasn't there in this movie.
No.
Until almost the end.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I'm asking. Am I just not remembering it?
Yeah, no, I don't remember much of the Bond theme tune getting played, and there's a few sort of car chases in that where it usually does get played in the car chases because all you're going to be hearing is like car engine noises, and so they usually will put the music.
They usually pump some kind of music there.
Yeah, yeah.
Even in Speed. No. Okay. Not even Bond. Let's go back to another franchise, Speed. Even when they were showing footage of the bus, it was always.
Well, I think not only have they lost the writing talent, they lost a bit of the musical talent, haven't they? Because not many great composers nowadays.
Well, didn't they replace the entire opening theme because they decided it was crap and they commissioned an entirely new opening theme for the movie?
Oh, no.
I thought I read that somewhere. The original one was just they finally went, no, this just won't do. It could be wrong.
Yeah.
Again, could be wrong. I've been trying to follow the news about this movie, and then watched it and was like, oh, this is a dog's breakfast. All of the contradictory things I've been hearing about it now make sense because there's an old saying: too many cooks spoil the broth, and too many people spoiled the movie because they didn't have a coherent anything.
Well, I'd just say more people. Less people and more women, because you could tell that Phoebe Waller-Bridge was in that because it was like, all women talking. It's like, this is a Bond film.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that was part of it. But there were obviously, there were multiple rewrites, and then there were all the reshoots. So when you put all that together, you it was like they were trying to make a Bond movie out of 4 different movies.
Yeah, well, I think Barbara Broccoli, I think the majority share of the box. She's like, but like she probably, I think, would have said, look, just make sure this film has got some good action in it, and so I think that's why they did some reshoots because there was that bit where Bond is driving the car in that, and he's getting chased. Well, it's a Jeep or a 4x4, and the little lass is in the back, and the mother's in the front seat, and she goes into the back seat to like comfort the child and that. Well, I reckon that could have been a reshoot where Bond would have gone into the back and comforted the child and that. He should have done all the driving. I think maybe someone like Barbara Broccoli or someone who like knows, like, yeah, look, this film, if it ain't got any action in it, and Bond's getting cocked all the time, and so yeah, just do some reshoots.
Well, yeah, there were two things that stood out as positive for me. One, compared to what I saw in the original trailer, Bond with the black female 007 gave as good or better than he got. So she was still needling him.
Yeah,
but he came right back at her, and she came off as like, you need more seasoning. You need more experience. He's been doing this longer. You'll learn.
Yeah.
And the second one is, I will give them this. The action sequences were first rate. That was first rate. That was like, that is awesome. But the problem is that was where I started thinking Jason Bourne, because I'm like, Jason Bourne was a boring movie with great action sequences.
Yeah. Well,
and that was what this started to turn into in the middle.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, like the Daniel Craig ones, they did go more serious, and so they did go more Bourne, like where it wasn't about having a bit of a tongue-in-cheek sort of laugh, and yeah, they sort of did make it more boring, as in like with Daniel Craig, he has got bits where he does do some Bond lines and that, but most of the time he's more serious and like looking worried, because he's probably the Bond that looks the most worried in everything. Even when he's driving and there's no one around, it still looks like he's worrying about something, and it could be his face, but. Because Daniel Craig,
he might have resting worried. You're saying he has resting worried face?
Yeah, because Daniel Craig's face.
Yeah,
right?
That's it. Resting worried face.
Yeah, he's got a pretty ugly face. I'm not saying it's real ugly, but it's a luckily enough for him. He's got a great physique and that, or else he definitely wouldn't have got that Bond part, because it's like, well, what would women find attractive in you if you didn't have a great physique?
Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan. He's not.
Yeah, definitely not a Pierce Brosnan. But Daniel Craig is like the male Butterface. Everything looks good on him, but his face.
Yeah, because like his face and all, I've seen pictures of him when he's younger, and he's got that old face when he's younger. He always looks 10 years older than he does in his face. Because I'll pull it up, because right, Daniel Craig, before he got the part of James Bond, he was in this TV BBC drama, and he looked rough as fuck, because everyone thought the other dude was going to be Bond.
I don't know about you, but Daniel Craig kind of looks like, to me, he went many times with Mike Tyson.
Yeah. There we go. Friends up north.
He just looks like he's beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
No, not just a little bit, like a lot. Like, I usually don't insult people that much, but it just looks like he hit every branch on the ugly tree.
Yeah. Like,
right straight to the face on the way down,
yeah,
all
look
the
at
way
this.
through the tree.
Oh, this is how ugly he is.
You
I
could
forget the
you could
dude.
clearly
Oh,
tell he's not my favorite Bond at all.
yeah,
It's
yeah. Look at this one. Uh, share this with you.
and I do understand women need some things to look at. So we gotta have you have that nice. You gotta have that nice looking Bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That
Like,
way it's equal for everybody.
yeah,
I've seen a
yeah.
movie more equal opportunity than when oh what was that one Bronson was the one coming out of the water and take oh that was what was that, The World Is Not, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, not enough.
That was that one with what's her tits, Denise Richards.
Yeah, yeah. It was the sort of like bad one who tried to like choke him to death with that sort of like um, crushing windpipe machine thing that she was turning. That's the world's not enough. But yeah, have you seen that? What I'm sharing with your dad, Esther.
What was it?
Daniel Craig before he did Bond. Yeah. Now, now look, the dude next to him is I forget his name, but him who played fucking the Doctor Who. But he's a bit of an ugly sod and all. But compared to Daniel Craig, he's the good looking one in this. And then there was this dude, I forget his name, but when like the announced there was going to be doing a new James Bond, they went, "Oh yeah, someone leaked that it was going to be one of these two who was going to play James Bond," and everyone thought it was going to be the one on the right who played in Kick-Ass. You know, he played the bad guy in Kick-Ass, and he also plays like the Colonel dude in Swamp Man. Oh crap! What's that film? Oh, Kingsman. You know the Kingsman films. He plays the like Scottish sort of Colonel dude in it. But we all thought he was going to be the James Bond, but then they picked Daniel Craig. And it's like I can't say, especially with his blonde hair, and he didn't dye it. And it's like James Bond has like don't have to have jet black hair, but he needs to have at least dark brown. Yeah. I'd say if it weren't for Daniel Craig's physique, there's no way women would find him attractive. Because I've got a mate who looks like Daniel Craig, but you know he's got a right big sort of beer gut, and he does not have no women near him.
Yeah. Looks like we may have this just in if Neopol is up for it. Apparently he's just got done watching the first episode of Chucky
Yeah.
on USA. It's a movie.
Alright.
So you're not coming up. Okay. Then what are you ranting about? Like,
I think you just
okay. Apparently it was fucking awesome, and that's it.
Kinda,
Apparently it was fucking awesome, and that's it.
I think you just kinda,
Okay. Apparently it was fucking awesome, and that's it.
I Eh,
Yeah, I was about to say it's not a movie; it's a series. But that's what I was like. Oh, I was looking at Chronos. That's what confused me. Never mind. Crisis averted. Okay. You sure you don't want a company pull? This would be good.
Yeah, I'm not too much into me horrors and that. That from Evil Dead.
Do I have to start another poll and get to coax Neopool up here? Don't want to spoil it. Yeah, I have a yip dog. It's a little Chihuahua pug mix. He's a chug. Yes, Kronos the Unbannable.
Yeah,
Oh, what I want to know about this new Chucky is story. How are they to new story and what's going on with that? That's what I want to know. If we can get a little insight on that, maybe we could talk some people into actually seeing this, because a lot of people are like somewhat on board, but they're still kind of scared
mm, yeah,
because, well, the way Hollywood's going lately, I don't blame them.
yeah.
Even
Depends on
I'm
what you're in it.
a little reserved when it comes to watching anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think like if I was a Chucky fan, I think it'd probably be all right because I think they are trying to stick to the because it's Chucky in it. It's a doll, so they can't really change it much. And so I think they will sort of like try and Chucky is the evil guy in it, and so sooner or later he's going to come a cropper, and so well he usually does in the Chucky films, in it, and so they probably will try and keep it like to the source
Holy
material.
crap. Loki's Mornings of Mischief, welcome. If you want to come up and talk a little bit about we were talking about Bond, but we have one of my friends has the new Chucky. If I were trying to come up and talk about it, but yeah, the links in the top if you want to pop up here. If anybody wants to pop up here. Um, Now I like Chucky, like the first few Chuckies when it was still magic and it was still
Yeah,
Brad Dourif.
yeah, yeah. The first ones didn't seem to. I I wasn't really much in because I was more of my action like, and so it even though like because you know when you haven't seen a film, but you practically know everything about it because everyone sort of like told you about it and that. So it's not like I've practically seen it. Yeah, and it doesn't seem too bad like in that, but I was more into action films, so I never really watched it because just seemed more horror. And the thing with horror is it always takes like a good hour. Well, apart from slasher movies, but I'm only much into slasher movies because seeing people getting slashed up is like not all that good unless it's like in a war or something, or for revenge for like someone just slashing up for someone having a like party on the beach.
I've always liked those slash movies though, like Freddy and Jason and Mike Myers. I've always liked those. Of course, those were kind of like when I was growing up, like those were like old fairy tales. Like the old fairy tales always told us or taught us not to trust strangers in the woods. And what did these stories teach us?
Not to go to sleep.
Not well.
That's Freddy.
Freddy was weird. Not to do drugs, not to have promiscuous sex, not to have basic be a good boy and allegories, lessons to be learned. But I guess they don't really even care about that anymore. I mean, I don't know. They're always trying to subvert our expectations or whatever you want to freaking call it.
Now, well, they don't do it with the horrors because with horror films is the propaganda is already there. It's like one of them where it's made to sort of like scare and depress people, sort of thing.
That's a good lesson to learn, Loki. I like this lesson. Never trust a guy in a hockey mask with definitely a good lesson. I don't know about you, but if I see a guy in a hockey mask and a chainsaw, I'm probably gonna run the other fucking. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I'm running the other damn way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run to the hills.
Run for your life.
Yeah, that's it. Close enough. Oh.
Just like the horror movies and that. Like I said, the Evil Dead's I didn't mind. But yeah, mostly it was just like a bit like I need some more action-y sort of thing.
Yeah, it does. You back? Just another red shirt.
I am
with
here.
us? All right. We got to talking about like slasher movies and the lessons they actually taught.
I never got into slasher movies. Not really my thing.
Yeah.
Not really your thing. You're not into the whole that kind of thing.
Oh. Yeah,
Halloween,
like,
Friday the 13th, no.
No.
Dude,
I
what
did
about,
like the whole
Dead?
Evil Dead. Evil Dead was great. And a lot of video games and a lot of different, like, even movies, even like Evil Dead. They Live had a lot to do with the one-liners that made Duke Nukem.
Yeah. Hail to the king.
Hail to the king, baby. and it's like that James Bond theme. Like you know what's gonna happen once you hear that. It's gonna happen. It's Duke Nukem. Oh, can you play the Duke Nukem theme? Oh my gosh, I'd crap if he actually just starts playing the Duke Nukem theme right now.
No,
Just pulling this all together. Don't encourage Loki. Nope. What are we doing to Loki? I didn't know we were doing anything to Loki. We're not doing anything to Loki besides maybe entertaining him a little bit because he's bad. But it's nice to actually see him in the chat and actually hear. That's actually quite cool. It's been a while, brother. It's been a while. Good to see you. Loki. Kronos is like, Loki can do things.
Times have changed.
Speaking of, times have changed. People change. May not be for the better, but it certainly can't be for the worse.
You know about Scottish accent.
You could take that all the way to the bank. I try sometimes. It's like I fool with accents all the time. It's kind of rather interesting. Massive voices and different accents and tones and
Yeah.
different kind of style. Even just slight nuances of pronunciation and whatnot.
And that's what bites you when you do it in front of somebody who grew up with the accent. I thought I was good at a Scottish accent until I tried to do one in front of a colleague at work who grew up in Glasgow, and his only reaction to it was, "Don't quit your day job."
Well, apparently he thinks I'm not too bad.
Yeah, not great though. No, but the Scottish though, like they don't really like their accents getting the Mickey taken out of. They get a bit touchy. Okay.
Just a wee bit touchy.
There's at least 4 Scottish accents that I've actually heard: Glasgow, Lowlands, Highlands, and Edinburgh, and they're all different. And when you get all the way up towards Jonah Groats, there's probably a 5th one. And it's it's like a lot of people in Europe don't understand how many accents America has. They think we all sound like they think we all sound like Dan Aykroyd.
No way we all sound like Dan Aykroyd. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah. It used to be, like John Wayne, get off your horse and drink your milk.
Hey,
right.
You get off my lawn.
Clint Eastwood. Dirty Harry.
Ain't happening. Feeling bad, I got sunshine. In a bag, I'm useless. Not too long for the future is going on. Yeah, it's all a mess. What time is it where I am? It is literally 11:30 in the PMs. You don't have a That's Kronos is killing me in the chat there. Ah, it's good to have you back.
It is good to see you, Kronos.
Yeah, I've been around a lot of different streams, and they're like not exactly in those your words, but you catch my drift.
Well, sort of. You cut out a little bit. So.
I cut out a little bit there.
Yeah.
Where at?
You said, "I'm like it," but you catch my drift.
Yeah, I kind of. I can't even remember where I was at with that. Yeah, it's I'm with it here. Never the same without Cronus around. Uh, well, I don't know about being tards or anything, but when you got like people talking like history doesn't exist, and as long as as long as they say history exists, as long as it fits their narrative, that's when I'm like, yeah. And they used to call me retarded.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, man, that's like, geez, you're actually making me look smart there. Thanks.
Yeah.
You're all,
Well,
but you still kind of suck.
yeah. Well, they've all gone book smart, haven't they? All this
Yeah,
like new
they
generation. Yeah. But once
yeah
you
they've
get
gone
in the
all
real world, yeah,
And the problem
and
is they're smart from the wrong books.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
like what they do? Just pick up Mein Kampf and be like, hey,
Well,
I think
yes, we've
this
got
is
the
great.
Anthony.
Yeah, I went straight for
Well,
the throat.
yeah.
I don't care.
Well, I tell you something. If it started getting fucking trending on fucking Facebook, they all would.
Oh, if it's trending, they're all over it like stink on
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you fucking live your life on sort of fucking Facebook and that, innit? Whatever's trending, that's
Oh my God, must be
Yeah.
it must be so great. It must be
Yeah.
so great when you're so fucking Twitter cool.
2 million fucking retweets can't be wrong.
Exactly, but
Nobody cares.
No, it's all numbers. It's like it's one of them where fucking if everyone like started fucking eating raw sewage and that and putting like fucking TikTok videos on it, it won't be long until fucking everyone down the streets fucking TikToking them eating raw sewage.
Somebody commented today that Reddit is starting to bleed out into the real world, and I'm like, Twitter's been doing that for years.
Yeah, no. It's,
Where have you been? Seriously, where have you been? It's been happening for about almost a decade now. Where have you been?
Well, years. Okay, almost a decade and years are not entirely incompatible.
Yeah, well, it's these sort of like young, sort of dumb people where we all was once like that, you know. We all fucking
Yeah,
thought, like,
everybody
fucking-
was once young and dumb. Of course,
Yeah.
Yep.
and so it's these where fucking anything gets trending and that. But I think they are realizing because daft things have got trending where even like people or shall I say sheeple are like fuck that that's to it fucking extreme or crazy for me.
Yeah. To Darth, to your point and the Wakedown's point, yes, we were all once young and dumb, but most of us weren't taught to stay that way.
Yeah, and we was young and dumb because we didn't want to learn what was happening and that, and but we was getting it told. But now that they're like, even if they want to learn, now they've got to find the right sources. Because nowadays, like, your sources was pretty good, like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and that.
That's like I said. The entertainment in the '90s was balls to the wall, non-apologetic, And so it was. It may have been coke fueled in the 80s and the early 70s, but it was damn good.
I can
Oh, well-
assure you that in the 80s it was coke fueled.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I can guarantee it was coke fueled in the 80s.
Yeah. Well,
I
Well,
was sort of there on the sidelines.
yeah, there was some though that didn't use it though. But yeah, you're right. Most of them did, but yeah, I don't think it's meant that. I think it's just it's got confidence, and these writers need more confidence to write films that like they don't, because all the great films, they was never written for a mass audience. They was written for a certain audience that other people liked.
Okay, I have to go with this. Ernest Hemingway is one of those writers where he wrote through experience. I think this is just a theory, but I think that most of these writers and directors need to be learning through like different life experience before they even dare pick up a pen.
Yeah,
Like go out, do something stupid.
yeah, I don't know about that.
Just don't put on the dang internet.
But yeah, go on.
I mean,
have a bit of a life though, innit?
yeah.
Go be
Have a
great
life.
connections. Yeah,
Make some questionable decisions.
yeah.
Do something. Live a little. Live a little.
Make some decisions, period, and live a little.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like end up in federal prison or something, but not enough to get arrested and screw up your life for freaking ever. I'm saying, you know what I mean? Just live a little.
Yeah, we're not suggesting you wind up naked. We're not suggesting you wind up naked and hungover in an alley in Kathmandu. I mean, that's a little extreme.
Or like that famous Robin Williams skit where you had a good time when you wake up naked next to your locked car with your car keys in your ass.
I miss Robin Williams.
Not exactly that phrasing, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty damn close to what he said.
Right. Well, Robin had probably had a few evenings followed by mornings like that.
Oh, I'm sure most of his evenings were pretty coke fueled too.
Yeah, well, he did so much. He stopped, didn't he? Because he knew it was getting to that stage where it was fucking his life up. And because there's that famous line where he's like, "Oh yeah, I stopped doing. I think he says coke because people are doing freebasing now, and it's not free. You lose your house over it."
Yeah, I also think that the death of John Belushi had the effect of being a bit of a wake up call on him.
Yeah, true.
Let's see, Belushi, Kennison. Let's see, pick a celeb. Farley, Chris Farley. I think they were all real big in selling drugs.
Yep.
Tim Kennison, not so much on the drugs part, but his was more alcohol. I think he died in a car wreck, didn't he? Alcohol-induced car wreck.
He did.
Under the influence. Yeah. I was watching that last Adam Sandler movie, and I about went into tears because they had this thing at the end about Chris Farley, and I was... Not kidding. I had a hard time holding back tears. I about bawled. It was moving, and it was beautiful.
The one Black Widow, was it?
No, it definitely wasn't Black Widow. I think it was like Hugh Queen or something.
You say, because that wasn't a fucking beautiful ending. That was like total where taking the piss out of the audience there, though, wasn't it? Where it's like, oh yeah, it's a dude, it's a dude, it's a dude. Oh, it's a chick. Right at the end.
Chris Farley may have died from a heart attack, but I'm pretty sure most of that stuff was based on maybe his weight and his
Yeah,
love for alcohol and drugs. Everybody
was-
knows that Chris Farley was a party boy.
yeah. It was something to do with a condition he had where he'd build up some fat in his fucking cartridges or whatever.
Yep, that's what it was.
Yeah, and
That
with
really killed him.
doing, yeah, and with doing drugs and drinking and all that, he did get where his heart just popped in his sleep or whatever. I think that's Chris Farley. Is that the one that did that ninja one? And
Beverly Hills Ninja.
Boy.
Yes, that was Chris
Yeah.
Farley.
yeah, and not Waterboy, but Tommy Boy won it. Yeah,
Yes,
He did that.
yeah.
one of the
right,
most famous lines. Fat guy in a little coat. I love that scene. You gotta be kidding!
Yeah, I remember the deer that like the think is dead, don't they? So they stick it in the back, and then it's only knocked out, and it comes fucking alive halfway wherever they're driving. He just starts kicking the shit out of the roof and all that.
Yeah, I was more of a fan of John Candy. Especially his last two films, Uncle Buck, where he played a badass who was an idealist. He was trying to get a girlfriend, and but when push came to shove, he took no shit. And his best one. I mean, okay, let me just say his best movie, but from my point of view, not necessarily the best movie he was ever in, but his best movie because it was his best role was Cool Runnings.
I'd say Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I can't stand that movie. Oh my god, that's my problem. I can't stand because that was John Candy and Steve Martin getting together and being silly.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. The biggie,
Yeah, and if you like that, that's great. That's great. What I liked about Cool Runnings is he starts out as an angry, washed up old man.
Yeah.
Right? And then, okay, he's pulled out of that. He starts to maybe care. And then he starts to really actually care because he knows these guys are really serious about this. And they might be able to do something he couldn't do. And the scene where he walks into the committee room at the Olympics in Calgary with his old coach sitting at the table and says, "Kurt, do anything you want to do to me, but don't do it to my guys. They didn't do anything wrong." And that's a
I
moment.
I love that part.
Yeah. I mean that's a moment I tear up at. Even though I'm laughing at everything else in the movie, that is a tear-jerking, heartstring-pulling moment because he's finally realized what he did wrong, and he realizes his guys are paying for it, and that's not right. So he goes to say, "Don't do this."
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to that comedy. There's a lot more to that comedy, and of course the ending where they their rattle trap sled loses a bolt and it falls over, and they all pick it up and they march across the finish line, and even the Swiss team is applauding them. That was awesome. And I don't care how real or unreal it was. The fact is, it's a great movie. With a story. It's a feel-good story. And it's great. Yeah. And wait a minute, think about it. How many of those have you seen in the last 10 goddamn years?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, we could do one of them today. But I just like Plays of Overbills where they're in bed together and that, not sexually, just because they're sharing a bed because the hotel's only got a double bed. And Steve Martin's like, where you got your hand? And John Candy's like, in between two pillars. And he's like, they're not pillars. I see you up at that and laugh every time.
Yes.
Anyway,
They're
I'm always-
both at their best. They both at their best were fantastic. Steve
that
Martin
was
and
the-
Roxanne cracks me
Yeah.
up.
those are good movies. One of John Candy's one of my favorite movies that I could watch over and over again, and I actually went to the drive-ins last summer to actually see this movie again. It was The Great Outdoors. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was, I love that movie.
yeah. Yeah, I remember it, but I can't remember much of it apart from, like, obviously it being, like, a bit slapstick.
It was very slapstick, and it was very, it was just one of those feel good comedies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, John Candy did do quite right good because Spruce's Millions and all, where he played sort of like the sidekick to Richard Pryor. But yeah, there's I have
Even Butterflies like The Great Outdoors. When we actually saw it. Yeah. Apparently we got some Uncle Buck and Great Outdoors fans in here too. My favorite part was when he was coming, like at the end when he was getting chased by the bear. It's in the house and he's like, bear, big bear, no, out there, chase, big bear, chase. Big bear, chase me! And then it busts through the door. He's there under the door. And he's like, oh. Oh. Yeah, the best part of Uncle Buck was the whole John Candy and Macaulay Culkin dynamic. Oh, we're just coming up with a good one in the chat here. Eddie Murphy Raw, yes, I love that.
and Delirious and all.
And that brings me back to the final topic of the night. The Dave Chappelle comedy special.
Oh,
I hadn't seen it, but I saw his last one, and so I saw the end bit where there was all complaint, but yeah, he's funny though, Dave Chappelle, and so.
Dave Chappelle is great. He's an old school comedian in that he fires in all directions. And yes, there are jokes that he tells that make me wince. But he's not just blatantly unfair about it. He's not just making shit up and then throwing it at you. So yeah, there's always an
That's the
element
thing
of
with
truth.
comedy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's gotta be an
there's
element
a
of
big
truth.
element of truth, and even Jeff Foxworthy lays it down. True stuff is the funniest stuff. It's
Yeah.
right out there, black and white. You could quote him, and that's true with every comedian. There's always some truth in those stereotypes and everything that they do.
Well, that's why late night comedians aren't funny, because there's no truth in them. They're
least
peddling
now-
a narrative.
At
And
least
they're peddling a
nowadays.
narrative and selling it. They're selling it. They're selling it.
Yeah,
And they're looking more for applause than laughter. Give Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle credit. He's looking for laughter, not applause.
Yeah. And Dave Chappelle's one of them comedians and all. Oh, Even if he don't get laughed at, if he gets like boos or whatever, he don't care because he knows that's all a part of comedy where you are gonna like hit or miss sometimes and that, and that's why people find it funny because you're putting yourself out there, and so you start saying stuff about things that like could get you in trouble or whatever. It's funny because
I've even had one of my friends today ask me, like, while I was playing a video game on PlayStation, they literally messaged me and asked, "Do you think Dave sold out in a special?" My answer is no. I think he was holding back a little bit,
yeah,
but I don't think he was selling out. I think
Well,
he
like,
did what he came to do and gave him what he thought he could get away with.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
That's actually
No
a good point.
apologies.
Wait a minute.
No fuck.
That's actually a good point. What he could get away with turned out to be humor. That was a conversation that had funny moments. And I didn't see all of it. Mrs. Redshirt watched the whole thing. I was in and out of it, watching it occasionally here and there. But my impression was that was a conversation he wanted to have, or at least a monologue that he wanted to deliver, which had its funny moments. But it wasn't really a comedy show. That was I need to get this off my chest. And I'll do my level best to make it funny for you.
yeah,
That was my impression.
yeah.
What do you think?
That's the way of, yeah, that's the way, and it really resonated. But it was funny. I laughed a lot, and it was just really good. But
Dave Chappelle does do most of his comedy from situations, innit? Like,
yeah,
most times I've seen Dave Chappelle, he's telling stories that rather happen to him or happen to someone he knows, and then he sort of like describes the funny side of it in that. Or makes funny, witty comments about the situation or whatever. Well, say it's comedy. It's one of them where it's not for everyone because there's probably some jokes that I'll find funny that you won't, and there's going to be jokes that you find funny that I won't, and everyone's like that, and so it's knowing which jokes like are funny to people and that,
but that's
and
the
that's
thing
why-
with comedy. You gotta know what's funny and how far you can actually take it before it gets truly.
Yeah. Because like you can go too far, and so it is always best because most comedians could probably get a crowd fucking up in a riot because they'd know what to say, you know. They know how to wind people up in the crowd to get them booked, and so most comedians know there's a point where it's like, yeah, get off the stage before the riot starts.
Or the
Obviously.
vegetables start flying.
Yeah, and obviously there is one or two that like don't, or then like there's going to be someone organising the event that will be like, fuck yeah, this crowd's getting right nasty, get him off. Because I saw that happen in Britain. There was this British comedian, and he said an anti-Brexit joke, and it was like after Brexit, I think he said something on the lines of, oh yeah, people who voted for Brexit are like idiots, and they're not. But he said something on that lines, but you know, as a joke, and the crowd started booing him, and he tried to like make out like oh yeah, I'm going to stay on this stage if you boo me or not until I've done my set. But after about 2 or 3 minutes of constant booing, someone from the organisation will put on the like comedy show, just had a word with him in his ear, saying like, "Look, we'll pay you your money, but get off the stage because this crowd hates you."
Right. And that actually that sounds a lot like what the late night comics do here, in that they basically say, "Oh, look at these people, they're idiots," and the audience applauds rather than laughs, because that's what they want to hear. They want their opinion of people they don't like validated, so they show up in the audience, and the guy on stage goes, "Yeah, you know those people you don't like, they're idiots." And they all go, "Yay!" and they clap.
Yeah.
And that's what it's devolved into. And you know, that's where so much comedy has gone. Dave Chappelle, I love Dave Chappelle for all of his warts and flaws and whatever, you know, the things that he says that I don't disagree with. I'm like, yeah, but he's a breath of fresh freaking air as a comedian. Because he's actually a comedian. He's not a propagandist. He's not feeding me a narrative.
Even if he was, I don't care as long as it's funny, you know. Because like if he wants to like propaganda against like smoking weed's good, you know, I don't care. As long as it's funny, because like some people have got like a bit of propaganda, you know, their views and that what they think is right. But yeah, I think Dave Chappelle though, because he's black and all, and so he's probably got some like family members and that will give him a bit of shit because like they're all probably Democrat voters and that, so he will sort of have to like calm it down a little bit. But
I know this was to Corona. Yeah, just like South Park, it has to be intelligent and keep nothing sacred.
Yeah.
Nothing is safe. Nothing is.
Yeah, there can be no sacred cows in comedy.
No holds barred.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. It's comedy. Yes. Well, anyway, I said there's some jokes where, like, when you're joking about dead babies or something and that, you know, that's when, like, yeah, it can get a bit like, ooh, touchy and that. So there is some jokes where I'd be like, oh, yeah, no, that's a bit too far in that. But it's a joke. In my opinion, it'd be a bad taste joke, but it's still a joke.
Right. And I've, you know, I've only ever walked out of one show. And it was because I just decided, you know, the jokes here are not trying to make the audience laugh. They're trying to piss certain people off. Yeah, and I just decided, you know, I came here to watch a comedy show. I came here to hear you say things that would make me laugh. And I haven't heard anything that would make me laugh. And I've been here for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You've had your chance. You know, and I'm not gonna go on Twitter and call you a douchebag. I'm not gonna go on Facebook and say he's washed up or he's you know gone to the dark side or whatever the hell it would be. I'm not even gonna name the comedian. All I'm gonna say is I finally went. I'm done. I didn't pay money to watch this. I've seen this guy many times before, once live, many times on television. He was a famous comedian. I'm like, I didn't pay money to see this show. So guess what? I'm going to go do something I enjoy more. Bye now. And I walked out. The only show or movie I've ever walked out of. And, you know, the comedian has to decide what he's going to talk about, or she. Chrissy Mayer comes to mind, so I have to make it he or she, just for Chrissy Mayer, because she's hysterical. But the comedian's going to decide, this is what I'm going to talk about, this is how I'm going to present it, And there's a risk because obviously the way you present a joke, somebody's going to be pissed off. If you're doing it right, it's very rare. I mean, you are a truly safe comedian if you can tell an entire range of jokes and nobody's pissed off at you. Stephen Wright's the only funny comedian I've ever heard that could come close to that because he was just so bizarre. He was just so bizarre.
Yeah. Well, I've heard there's been quite a few family sort of orientated, entertained comedians and that who I find quite funny. But you know, to keep it sort of safe though, that they know like not to go too political or to take the piss out of like certain sort of people or whatever. But I do prefer like the more sort of outrageous ones. Because Eddie Murphy's good and like fucking Richard Pryor and that and what's his name?
Well, the original one that was pushed the envelope was Lenny Bruce.
Yeah. And what's his name? I'm trying. It's on the tip of my tongue. Everyone thinks it's Alex Jones. Crap.
All right, we're a little past that 2-hour mark. Guys, do you guys have any channels that you want to?
Oh yeah. Got me channel Jens Peder, and I'm gonna be doing a stream in 25 minutes. I was gonna be doing it like 3 minutes ago, but because I was talking and that, I put it back 25 minutes and that. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about new film by Scott Atkins and the new bio Son of Superman.
Oh, the new Superman.
Yeah, it's his son. He's saying bio.
What are you doing? Just what? Superman?
Yeah, well, it's one of them where I think they're just like, right, well, what do we know? Well, we know about kissing dudes, don't we? Well, let's write about that then.
Yep. But it is what it is.
Mm.
I'm trying to find your channel.
Billix. That's I was thinking of. The other comedian. That was like really out there. Yeah. Usually, yeah, if you can't find it back with Jens Peder, usually Blue Tack Baby Yoda. It's usually about 3 or 4.
If you more entertainment tonight, I going what 20 some minutes now.
Yeah. Because I put it back because I had a real good talk and because I thought, oh yeah, I'll pop on half faster for a bit. And, but,
Well, thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having us on. Yeah.
Just another red shirt. You still there?
I am here, and thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking with you. It's been a great time. I enjoy it.
You have a channel?
I have a channel, but I don't have any content. I'm working on that, some ideas for that, but I've got nothing to plug yet. Although, if you would like to follow me, I'm on minds.com at Justin of the Red Shirt. And I'm a regular on the MF for Cocktail Lounge show, which is on Foulball Productions channel on Friday nights, usually starting around 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock.
Let's see if I can find that.
I can get that.
Yeah. Very just. Oh, stay awesome. Stay safe. I will put just another red shirts in the description as soon as probably as soon as I'm done here.
Yeah, cheers for putting the link in the chat, Darth. That's never, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Well, thanks, Parkwaddle. That's awesome. That's you,
Yeah.
everyone. Stay awesome and have a great old one.